Welcome everyone. Good morning. My name is Kinga Laura Ambrus, and as usual, I will be hosting today's webinar, and we will be talking about managing customers, agents, persons, and addresses in Victoury. Today's agenda is about the persons and creations of persons, person types, customers in Victoury, relationships. The persons and their customers can have many types of relationships, and when I will be sharing my screen, you will see exactly how to enter them, how to manage them, how to rely on the relationship types, and how to create even bookings with predefined list of travelers. Then we will see what is the difference between the direct related and the other related relationship types. We will be talking about the functionality of changing a customer in a deal, of course. Then you will see how the system updates everything which is in behind when you decide to change a customer in a deal. We will be merging customers together to see what is the scope and the main aim of this functionality. You will be finding this very handy, I think. You will be seeing the matching persons and customers, which comes as an aid if you are using a website which is creating a deal, lead, an offer in Victoury. And as last but not least important, we will be talking about agent customers and their travelers, and of course about the agent commission and how to handle agent commission. And of course, we have as a last presentation screenshot the contact details. So we will be answering some questions, of course, at the end of the webinar as usual. So I will be now sharing my screen. So you see how do I proceed when I create a person, how do I set my relationships and everything which is related to persons. And what is important here, I will be starting from the settings. Of the settings is here an important area as you have the possibility per tenant to set the mandatory fields that are necessary for your target customers, persons. So on my environment, by default, of course, the first name and the last name is a mandatory field. But aside these, you may set any other field that you may consider useful for you. So I will be just setting the email as mandatory on my environment. And then let's start from persons. So you know that you can create a person. A person is a standalone entity who can be a traveler, who can be a tour leader, a travel designer. If you would be wondering what a tour leader or a travel designer's purpose is in Victoury, you will, of course, or you may have, of course, already encountered this as the tour leader in the group tour or the travel designer who can be in charge of trips in the trip designer. The basic person in Victoury, of course, is a traveler who can become a customer also. So I will be just creating a person which has some random data and just the details that I am required to enter. So I'm entering here an email address also. And we have our new person, first person whom I have entered for this presentation purposes. So the type is basically general in case you are entering a person who will be a traveler or you are aiming him to be a customer as well. Possibly you already have your persons in your database if you have migrated your data from the back office. So you might notice that in the relations, you might find even a customer for them, or you might find that it is a representative of a company. So this person does not have any relations yet. It means that he doesn't have a customer in behind. I will be starting from the customers, or I will be even starting from the standard deal to show you how to create their person. So adding a new person, and when adding a new person in the system always creates a customer in behind it. So if this person, and I will be putting here Matilda, At this moment, even if you don't finalize your deal, your person is already created. So if you go to the persons, you will see her. You will see that in the relations, customer has been created for her. So at this moment, if you just create another deal, then the system will already find this traveler. And she's here. Actually, this is Mary, this is Matilda that I have created. So I can proceed with the customer that it has been created for her. Of course, this person can also be a representative of a company, but in this case, she has to have a different email address. The email address of a person is unique in the system, and the tenants who are using already the client space know that actually it's the email address which we are using as authentication data. This is why it has to be mandatory in case you are using the client space, and it has to be a field that is unique, so two persons cannot share the same email address. I have not mentioned yet the extra fields in persons that you can use, and maybe if you are targeting certain persons or travelers from whom you need extra details, then we have the extra fields section that can be managed from the settings. So in System tab and Custom Fields, and by selecting the person, you can enter. Now I do not have any entries, but you can enter a new custom field. I will be just naming this custom field, maybe dive level. And the type of the field should be just a basic field. And I will be putting it to first position and just an English field for it. And now this is saved. And if you go back, or if I go back to my person, you may see that the extra field section has appeared. And here I have a basic field. Of course, I should have entered the label for it. That was the language for. So let me go back to the settings, custom field. Now it already shows my entry, and here this is the label. And now the extra field is editable. I have set it as a basic input, so actually it allows you to input a value. It can be a choice list, it can be a check mark also. It's your decision what the extra field should be. We recommend that extra fields you use for extra information only. So in case you already have a field for certain information, it's recommendable that you rely on them. The motive for this is that the system will not offer you possibilities to search by the extra fields in case you go to the person list and you aim to search for something. Of course, now in the persons, we just have the basic search, but this can be extended in the future. So let's go forward a bit to persons and relationships. And I have created my Matilda person, and she is in a relationship with a customer. This means that she has her own customer. When you see this green marking main customer, this means that the system identifies the customer in behind this person with whom she or he is in a direct relationship and is the main person for that customer. The definition of the own customer in Victoury is this exactly. It has to be indirect related, it has to be a main person, and the relationship type should be not selected. So we know that Matilda has a customer in behind, but if we just create a supplier, as usual, suppliers are companies, so I will be creating a supplier company. Then you will see that even in this case, an empty person has been created in behind it because it has to have a representative. If I would have filled out the details in the form, the person would have a name and even in an email address. So if I just edit this person and add the name for him, Then even I will be able to create a deal for this traveler, even if he is the representative of a supplier. At this moment, the system, I will be just showing you to illustrate what happened in behind, has created a main customer for him, his own customer, so he does not make a booking in the name of the supplier. The reason why the system has done this, it has identified that in behind this person does not have a customer yet, because the main customer marking was not in the relation to his supplier, and nor was he in a direct related relationship with him. So a customer has been created for him. So the next time when I will be just searching for this person in the booking process, it will just show that he is the main customer, and I can go proceed with that customer whom he is representing, who is his own actually. In case I go to customers, I was mentioning in the presentation that we have to talk a bit about the relationship types. And in the person section, you have already noticed probably that you have the direct related section and the other person section. What is the importance of these sections, or what is the difference between the two? Direct related persons, of course, are the ones whom you or this customer usually travels with. So in case a new deal is initiated, the direct related persons are the ones who are shown in the list of travelers. So in case I go to another person here, he has other persons related to it, and he is the one directly related to it. I manage this to be able to show you that in case I just initiate a deal for this Johan person, the ones that are in the other persons section are not loaded as travelers. So the least frequent travelers whom you or this customer is traveling with are usually put in the other persons. This will be, you will see the difference between agents and regular customers also, because agents will never have direct related persons for them, because this is why the system will be able to not load the predefined list of travelers always for agents, given the fact that it's supposed to have always new travelers, or actually doesn't have a frequent list of travelers. I will be just moving one up to be direct, and I will be then initiating the deal for him. And as you see, the person whom I moved to the direct section has appeared as a suggested traveler for him. In case you want, or you would want to manage your customers in such a way that you are maybe easier handling the travelers list also, then it's recommendable that you put as direct related those persons whom this person is frequently traveling with. The addresses that are related to the customers in the system are, let's see, for this person, for example, and I will be just inputting a main address for him with just random code. Is the address which is used for billing purposes. So in case you are making a deal and in the addresses section, the system requires you to add an address, it's best that you add it as a main address in case you know that this is the address that you will be frequently using as billing address. Of course, you have already noticed, or you already know that the system permits to add as many addresses as you want for a customer. Always the main address will be the one which will be on the top and offered as billing address. When initiating a deal for this customer, this address that I have put here, even if there would be another one, will be mentioned as recommended billing address. I was mentioning that we might talk about even the changing changing of customers. We have seen what a customer is, a person is, what can be the relationship between them. Another part of the system which would be good to see would be the relationship type, which in case he is the main person, then as you see, the system already says that this can be changed. I was saying that when you have your own customer, you cannot be in a relationship with your own customer. But in case I would just add here a traveler, then the system will allow me to say in which relationship type this person is with the other one. So I will just put here brother. This is for the importance of your, as an operator, having an overview, better overview, perhaps when making the room assignments, or we are for the near future preparing a CRM section in Victoury as well, where this information might be handy as well. If you see this little marking near the name of the person, this means that the person that I have added as a co-traveler to this customer has his own customer also. So in case I just click on it, it just loads the details of this customer that is the own customer of Johan. Changing a customer of a deal. I will be just accessing my deal list, and here let's take this deal. Changing a customer is not allowed in case there are open invoices, because actually the payments are migrated. Here I do not have an open invoice. I will be just even showing that, closing that before this. So there is no customer invoice, but in case I issue a customer invoice and go back to changing the customer, this is of course disabled because the booking gets locked. But if I just click here, the system says that in case you have an open not credited invoice, then you have to credit it first before this is allowed. So I will be just doing quickly the crediting. And now I will proceed with the changing of the customer. The changing of the customer is a functionality that you may rely on in case your customer changes his mind about the party whom he wants your deal to be billed to. Perhaps he has initiated, or you have as an operator initiated a deal for his own customer, but then he changes his mind that probably he wants his company customer to be the one whom this deal should be billed to. And at that moment, you may even decide to maintain the travelers. So I will be just doing that, and I will be just searching for another customer. And the system asks me whether I'm sure. I am sure. And after reload, the customer details have changed. The already issued and credited invoice has not been changed because that has been issued, and the credit note also for the old customer. But aside that, everything has been redone. The accounting related to the deals and everything has been put on the ID of this new customer. So this is the customer, the new customer of this deal, and everything related to this deal has been assigned to him. When we are talking about the merging functionality, you might have noticed that when you go to customers and you just select one, you have the possibility to merge. The merging of a customer is something that is between a source and a target. The source customer is the one whom you are aiming to delete. This means that you are selecting, I am selecting Matilda, and probably I consider that this is the same person as Martin Jack. Of course, in case there would be the same name, then it would be a reliable example. But I'm mentioning this that many times due to data migration, which happens usually when migrating to Victoury, this might happen that the same person appears twice in the system with even the same email address. When you are inputting a person in Victoury, the Victoury would not allow you to use the same email address. But in case this has happened, this is why this functionality is handy. So I will be just proceeding. And I need to search my target customer. and it has found the Jack Martin from above, to whom I want to migrate everything which is related currently to Matilda. Of course, if Matilda had any deal or had any deal-related entities, those would be migrated also. I mean, deal-related entities can be like an address. So I'm selecting the target, and the system will tell you that after the merging process, the source, which was Matilda for my case, will be deleted. So I will be just proceeding with that. And in case I go back to my persons, to the customers, then the customer of Matilda has been deleted. The person of Matilda is not deleted because she can be a traveler in a deal that has been migrated to the other customer. Probably I did not have any address here, so I cannot show you that it has been migrated, but I will just make a real case example also, where I have this George Smith. I will be migrating George Smith deals to somebody else. And you see that there are many deals related to these persons. 190, let's just pick that as a random check. So going back to customers, I will be searching for George. He will be the source. Jack will be the target. And the customer of Smith George will be deleted at this point. So, as you see, the deals have been migrated so that deal 190 has become the deal of Jack Martin. So this is what the merging of the customers is about. You might have encountered the temporary customer syntagm or expression in Victoury, and this is something that you might have seen in your deal list with an exclamation mark. In order to do this, I will be having to open outside accessing by API because I do not have a website related to this demo environment. So the system has created a lead, and at this moment, if I go to my deal list, you see that lead has been created. And the lead has been created with this marking saying that I need to proceed with the customer matching because the customer has been created as temporary. This is a functionality that has been designed for data protection purposes, meaning that on the website, when you web developers put together a booking flow, we'll never interrogate the Victoury database to see that person whether exists or not for security purposes. They will just initiate a deal, and in case the system, when the deal comes in Victoury, sees that this person already exists by email address, the system in Victoury, when saving the deal, it will create a temporary customer and a temporary person for it. This is not for the purpose of not overwriting the data and not allowing any outside sources like website or anything third party which is connecting to Victoury to access your customer database. So this lead has been created with a temporary person, with a temporary customer. And when the lead is loaded, at that moment, the system is already searching, which is the not temporary, the permanent in behind, and offers you the matching possibility. So when you are matching a person, then there are certain steps that the system will go through. It will notify you, so you need to confirm this, that everything which has come with the temporary customer will be migrated to the new one, and the temporary customer will be deleted. So this is why I need to do this confirmation, and every step has been successfully performed, and I just need for a reload. And at this moment, the newly created lead, which I see better even in the deal list, has become a not temporary, a permanent one. I do not have any issues. Both pertain to the same customer. So if I access the customer details of Jack, then I see all both of the leads that have been created. Let's see what's the deal about the agent customers and their travelers. So in case you have agents in your database, I already have one You might already know that the agent marking or defining a customer as an agent is as the last section in the customer details. And here you can define any customer to be your agent, even if it is not a company. And it is just a toggle that you need to switch. And in case you have this toggle switched agent, then the system will identify him as an agent and will not load the list of travelers, even if he has direct related travelers, because it considers that agents should not have direct related travelers. About the commission definition, here you already have the possibility to define the individual commission for this agent. But you might already seen or you might already be using the L commission, which is definable on the sell part of the product price. So if you input any value in the commission field of your price, of your product's prices, those commissions will be used only for those customers that are marked as agents, as I have shown you with a step before. I have this price. You see that I have a 10% commission defined for agents, and I will be just using this product to book something for this agent. But before I initiate the booking, I would just go back to the agent to show you how you can define even the individual commissions. So here I have set my entity as an agent. I would put here even a default commission with a minus value. And I will show you how that works. This means that you want to reduce the usual sell commission that is usually calculated by the system by default when an agent is booking a deal. For this particular agent, you want to reduce by 5%. So I will be just inputting here a -5. Let's initiate the deal. So quickly. This is the overlay that has not appeared yet, and this is usually which appears in case your customer, your person actually, is just a representative of a company, or in this case, it's a representative of an agent. This is the moment when the system is asking the operator whether he wants to proceed with the customer that has been already found for this person, and in our case, this is the agent. Or you can decide to create a new customer for this person. And if you opt for the first one, then the system will just create a new customer, which will be his own customer, aside being the representative of the agency in our case. I will be just proceeding with the agency. If I quickly go back, the email address you might have noticed is something that is mandatory in this case, because as I mentioned, in case you want the person to be both representative of a company and have his own customer also, then the system is considering that he should have company email address and his own personal email address. So we will be identifying him as two persons. I will be going through with an agency booking. And as mentioned, there are no travelers loaded, but I will just add the traveler by searching an existing one. And now, if I go forward, I will be just adding the product where I have input a sell commission. I have 5% commission because I had a 10% commission as a sell calculated on the price, but you might remember that I have input a negative value, which has reduced the commission for this agent by 5%. This is a new functionality now since our last version that allows editing the commission paid by deal. So in case I would want to increase a bit from here, I can put it back to 10%, and the system will recalculate everything in behind, or even I can put a fixed value of 20%, of 20, which will calculate the percentage in behind, and it will do the recalculation. And of course, if I just proceed with my deal, then even in the deal details, I have this very handy functionality where I can edit the commission and maybe go back to 5% as it was, save the changes, and have the values recalculated accordingly. Just one more step or one more thing related to agents is the fact that you might have seen that there is in this section another editing possibility or managing possibility. This is about the type of the product or category to which actually you can individually add a commission for this agent. So in case you know that for a particular product, you always want a predefined commission for this particular agent, then it's recommendable by product code you enter a commission. Or in case it is just for a particular category, like for accommodations or for transports, this agent always has a discount. This is the section where you can input this. So you just choose the category, you input here the category code that you know in your system is maybe AC for accommodation, or it's HO in our system for hotels. And you input here a fixed commission, which can be at 20%. Save it. And next time, when a deal is initiated for this agent, and in that particular deal, there are products pertaining to this HO category, which is hotel, then the system will automatically apply the 20% which I have defined here for this agent. This is how you can manage even by category and even by product your agent commissions. That's a new section. That's something that we have just developed recently. And if I go to this address that I have just created, the booking restrictions is not yet used for anything. It is just the admin area that has been implemented in Victoury because it will be used for vehicle booking for those tenants that are working with specific products by embark location. In case your price, you would have products with different prices by embark location, then there can be a restriction on that particular location, like you have a restriction with booking restrictions on product. And these booking restrictions, this section is the same one as you have in products. Maybe you are already using that to block out date or even block out days in case you know that particular embark location is closed. This is about the address. In case a particular address is closed on Sundays for picking up a vehicle, then you can input this booking restriction by address, and every price which would be bookable for Sundays would be blocked out by the system because there's a booking restriction for Sundays. If it's meant to be booked for Sundays, it's a booking restriction on Sundays, so that's why it is booked. It is blocked. This is the purpose of the booking restriction in the addresses. Of course, in products, the booking restriction is per product. So in case particular products are not available certain days, that's the same functionality. These are not returned in the search processes for those particular dates or days. Actually, you cannot have two persons with the same email address. And the mandatory fact of the email address is not always, because as I have shown you in the settings, the first step of the presentation was that I have marked as mandatory on my tenant the email address. But I can even set this to on not mandatory and save a person or add the customer. Let's put here a company and here company. And the email address for the company and for the customer's person is mandatory. But in case I go just to the persons, then in this case, you will see that the email address is not mandatory. So you can input travelers in your system without having email addresses. The fact that the email address is not mandatory by choice on your tenant, as I have set it not mandatory on my tenant now, is to cover even those travelers that are children or do not have yet an email address, or are seniors and they do not have an email address for that fact. And actually, the presence of the email address is important in case you have a booking, not an offer. So in case you are creating a deal with type B, which is a booking, then in that case, the system will not allow you to save your deal unless all the travelers have an email address. The reasoning behind this restriction is that the booking, in case you are saving a booking, for all travelers, the system is creating a customer in behind. This is for better management of bookings for the future. So only for booking related customers, you have to have the traveler email addresses filled out. And as you mentioned, for customer persons, yes, the email address is mandatory in all cases, even if you decide not to have it mandatory on your system. This is not possible in Victoury, and the reason why it's not possible is because Victoury in behind has a client space as well that can be opted for by tenant. And on that particular client space, on our client space, the login is by email address. So you cannot have two persons logging in with the same email address. It would be, in case it is a booking, the travelers would need to have their separate email addresses.